Roadside workers are dying at alarming rates. We'll tell you why. Governor Stitt says he is waiting to make his decision on the Julius Jones case and how the looming government shutdown could impact national parks. This is OU Nightly. Hello, thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Katie Arata.
And I'm Mecca Thompson. We begin tonight with drivers disregarding the state's move-over law in construction zones. Elise Jones has more.
I really wish we could get to the point where it wasn't about the law, where it was just about the right thing to do.
Every other week, the life of a first responder is lost while working roadside in the United States.
These guys work on the side of the road and they're just like you and I. They've got families, their husbands, their wives, their mothers, their fathers, their sons, their daughters. And all you've got to do is slow down, move over to help make sure they get home in one piece.
More than just tow drivers and first responders feel the effect of this law.
Broke down car with their hazards flashing, waiting on somebody to come help them. You need to slow down and move over.
Since 2015, over 1,600 Americans have been struck and killed while working on a disabled vehicle roadside due to the lack of attention by drivers.
Just a completely selfish mindset. The person who's out there working, I promise, it doesn't matter what they're doing, whether they're a construction worker or a police officer, a highway patrolman, my tow truck drivers, they're working as quickly as they can to get out of harm's way.
For a full list of tips to improve highway safety, you can visit AAA.com.
Governor Kevin Stitt announced yesterday that he will not accept the Pardon and Parole Board's recommendation to commute Julian Jones' sentence. Stitt says that he is waiting until after a clemency hearing on the case is completed to make a decision. In a statement, he said he believes that clemency hearings, not commutation hearings, are a more appropriate way to consider death row cases. The Oklahoma Pardon and Parole Board voted 3-1 last month to commute Jones' sentence.
The Oklahoma State Department of Health reports 1,500 new cases of COVID-19 today. This brings the active caseload to almost 12,000. The CDC says just over 10,000 people have died from the virus. Overall, nearly half the state has been fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
And Norman Regional continues to administer antibody testing, but has seen a change in supply. OU Nightly's Madison Daddario has more.
Norman Regional's Infusion Center has been administering monoclonal antibody treatment since last fall. The infusion was given emergency authorization by the FDA and has helped keep hospital beds empty. Norman Regional has treated nearly 1,200 patients since the approval, with some making the trip from other states.
We've had patients as far as Texas and Kansas schedule out to see us. So it's a collaborative event for all of our healthcare facilities to help the patients, help the people, help the population stay out of the hospital.
Though the hospital has been able to administer many infusions to its patients, a few weeks ago the federal government chose to hand the responsibility of supply off to the state level. This left Norman Regional officials questioning, will there be enough supply for the demand?
What happened in that switch is that all the orders that we had in the pipeline we lost. So we had to go back in and reorder. And there was just that uncertainty of how much are they sending our state? Are they going to have enough to supply us what we need to treat patients every week?
The worry about a supply shortage has brought into question whether Norman Regional would see a spike in hospitalizations. But through collaborative work across Oklahoma, the infusion center has not missed a beat.
We have not turned one patient away. We actually did have one day during the transition from federal to state that we ran out of medication at the end of that day. But we had our delivery the next morning, and so it was pretty much seamless. We never lost a patient.
Earlier this week, the center even sent out a mass text letting the people of Norman know their doors are open and the infusion is still available. Madison Daddario, OU Nightly.
The antibody infusion can keep those who are immune compromised safe and, most importantly, keep the number of active COVID cases as well as COVID deaths as low as possible. And if you're a fan of national parks, they might be facing a potential shutdown. Tyler DeLuca has that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world.
Thanks, Katie. National park cities are dreading the possibility of a potential government shutdown. Towns such as Elkton, Virginia rely heavily on national parks to bring in money to businesses. Shenandoah National Park near Elkton brought in 1.4 million visitors and billions of dollars to the community nearby. If the government shuts down, the cash flow from the park will come to a halt. And a volcano eruption on Spain's La Palma Island continues and is now reaching the sea. The eruption began 10 days ago on September 19th. Over 650 buildings have been engulfed by lava flows, but no deaths have been reported as prompt evacuations removed over 6,000 people from the area. This was the first eruption for the volcano in 50 years. And earlier today, YouTube announced they will be removing videos that spread misinformation about any approved vaccines. The list of approved vaccines will be according to what the World Health Organization has approved. Users will be subject to a 3-strike system where if you receive 3 strikes in a 90-day period, you will be permanently suspended. And be careful what you are snacking on because Suntree Snack Foods have issued a recall because some products could contain glass. Back to you two at the desk.
Thanks, Tyler. I will. The Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion hosted the annual neighborhood table on the South Oval today, serving free food for students and offering a place to sit and socialize with others around campus.
The neighborhood table event is part of the We Are campaign that aims at allowing the OU faculty, students, and staff to identify who we are. The campaign and the event focuses on bringing everyone together.
Get together with some folks, maybe some of your friends, your colleagues, your roommates, and then meet somebody else from across the campus, right? Because we are stronger together, we are better together.
Students are thankful OU offers opportunities for students to meet.
Events like this are really essential, just to make it feel more home-like for everybody and just to make everybody feel like they have a voice on campus.
President Harris and Dr. Hypolite were at the event speaking with students and staff. In many ways, the event was a success. They actually completely sold out of food.
Today, I had a lot of people say, and it worked. I met somebody from this department or this, this area, and so we really got an opportunity to see people engaging. And right now is a perfect time because folks are really thriving, or really looking for that time to connect and to get together.
The DEI office was thankful to hold this large event after COVID and are planning for a number of events in the future. Kaylee Tinglestad, OU Nightly.
To keep up with events, follow OU Diversity on Twitter. Here in Norman, the sun is out and there's a nice breeze.
The temperatures are getting a little cooler, which means fall is in full effect. Catherine Liberta has a first look at our forecast.
Yeah, it definitely has started to feel like fall, but we did have some rain move through last night. Here in Norman, we didn't see any rain, but look at the southwestern part of the state. Elk City saw just under an inch of rain, while Lawton saw just over an inch and a half. But Mangum, Oklahoma saw almost 3 inches of rain. Now, thankfully, that rain has moved out. We can see the moisture from that rain has moved out, but there is going to be a second round of rain coming. You're going to want to stick around because I'll have more coming up in the newscast, ladies.
Thanks, Catherine. Monarchs are currently migrating through states, and Oklahoma is an important one. Find out what you can do to help them have a successful migration when we return.
Plus, Norman is hosting a golf tournament benefiting a good cause. Stick around to hear their goals and how it will help the community.
One day, this will be your office. You'll track the storms, send out the warning, and save lives. One day, you'll teach here too. You'll tell others just like you why you became a meteorologist. But first, you have to become a student. And you'll do that right here at the National Weather Center.
This is you at OU. What will you learn? How will you excel? What path will you lead? Who will you impact? What will you do at OU?
If I could be you, and you could be me, for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Monarch butterflies are making a pit stop right here in Oklahoma during their migration. Shannon Ehrhardt has more on this story in today's Earth Report.
I'm standing in what truly is a butterfly culture, but without our orange and black speckled little friends, none of this would be possible.
This time of year, monarch butterflies travel 4,000 miles south to central Mexico. And just like people take pit stops to get snacks on road trips, these monarchs must fuel up along the way.
Oklahoma plays a really important role in that monarchs need two things as they're migrating. They need food and they need habitat to lay their babies on. Monarchs can only lay their babies on milkweed.
But the monarch population is nowhere near what it was 3 decades ago.
They make these specific tags. And people tag the fall migration and take down information when they tag a butterfly. For every one monarch you see right now, when you see a monarch up in the sky, 30 years ago there would have been over 2,000 monarchs for every one that we see now. So they're in some real trouble.
Yet hope is not lost for future generations.
It's really hard to bring kids into nature right now when we're competing with screens, and monarchs are an interesting way to kind of bring them outside and get them looking, not just looking for that bug, but looking in the sky and following the migration.
In the rhythm of nature, there's still mystery to monarchs.
It's just like strapping a weight to one ankle. We don't know exactly why they migrate. There's some theories, and there's a lot that we don't fully understand. Why? How do they know to go along the same route? How do their great-grandchildren know how to go back? You know, it's a shame to see anything in the web of nature disappear. And when it does disappear, then we start seeing what all it was attached to. Monarchs are sort of a canary in the coal mine.
With the monarchs flying right down I-35, Jordan says Oklahomans can help the monarch migration by creating more habitats, watering plants, and straying away from pesticides.
1/3 of everybody food that we take was pollinated by an insect. So when we see part of that particular part of the web going down, we need to take action quick.
You can follow the monarch migration on the Okies for Monarchs website. And hey, if you want to see more monarchs in your lawn, plant lots of native flowers with plenty of nectar. Shannon Ehrhardt, OU Nightly.
You may want to grab your golf clubs this weekend. When we return, find out what nonprofit is hosting their annual golf tournament here in Norman.
Catherine, what can we expect to see with the weather this week?
Yeah, it is gorgeous outside right now, but there is going to be some rain coming along. You're going to want to stick around. Weather's next.
I will never forget this day. In this moment, it's as if time itself has stopped for us. The thought of being here with you. When two become one. I will never forget this day. Your opioid addiction affects more than just you. Get help. Visit ok.gov/health.
This is Tehani. She likes to play with her friends and has dreams of becoming a doctor. But when COVID-19 devastated her community, she was taken out of school and forced into marriage at just 12 years old. Tehani and thousands of other child brides are facing domestic abuse, female genital mutilation, and life-threatening pregnancies. And the pandemic is causing these numbers to rise. Too Young to Wed envisions a world where girls are free to simply be children and determine the course of their own lives. Will you help us?
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly.
Lights out. Good night.
And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting.
And even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together,
we should still make an effort.
we should still make an effort
to get to know each other
on a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor.
It's time we take a step forward.
It's time we take a step forward. Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Oklahoma City right now is looking gorgeous. We've got sunny skies and temperatures are in the mid 80s. Dew points are pretty normal, so it's feeling like a gorgeous day outside. And this is the case for most of the metro area. We can see temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. Look at Kingfisher hitting the 90s. Now, this is also the case for most of the state. The western part of the state is just a little cooler because of that rain that they had come through last night. But here in Norman, we are going to have a chance for some rain tomorrow. We can see the northwestern part of the state tomorrow morning as you head out the door is going to have the greatest chance for rain. But then around lunchtime and by late afternoon, we are going to start to see a greater chance for rain in the central and eastern part of Oklahoma. For Norman in general, though, we are going to see our greatest chances for rain tomorrow and Friday. But then as we get into our weekend, we are going to see those chances for rain start to decrease. Looking at our lows tonight, we do have temperatures that are a bit higher than average, but still pretty cool across the entire state. And then highs tomorrow, again, a little bit warmer than normal, but we are going to see some rain come through and bring along some cooler temperatures. It's going to feel a lot cooler than last week, though. We had temperatures way above average, and as that cold front moves through, we are going to see temperatures start to decrease and feel a little more like fall. But looking at our national satellite, we can see this jet stream is pulling in this low pressure system, which is going to be bringing that rain and those cooler temperatures along with it. And looking at our 7-day forecast, we have those rain chances Thursday, Friday, and a little bit on Saturday, but then it's going to clear up as we move into next week. And we're going to see those temperatures start to decrease as we move into next week, but then Tuesday and Wednesday, we are going to see those temperatures start to heat up. Ladies, back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Catherine. United Way of Norman, a nonprofit organization, is hosting their annual United Way Benefit Golf Tournament this Sunday at Westwood Golf Course in Norman. Norman Way fights for better education, financial stability, and health for every person in their community through their 40 programs. Their goal for the golf tournament is to help fund their many programs and continue to bring in donations to further help the Norman community.
So we funnel everything to the United Way. The entry fees, or if they want to buy different mulligan packages, door prize raffles, a silent auction. So those are different ways that we invite folks to contribute to what we're trying to do, which is to help out the United Way of Norman.
The entry fee for the tournament is $85 per person, and it starts at 11 a.m.
The Sooners are heading to Manhattan, Kansas this weekend to take on the Wildcats. Nirali, is it going to be a good game?
It definitely will be a good game as the Sooners look to end their 2-game losing streak against Kansas State. And a Sooner defensive back is a semifinalist for an award. Find out who win. Sports returns. I was not ready for that part.
It just takes a moment to spread from one person to another. So how do you break the germ cycle? Wash your hands often and always after coughing, sneezing, handling food, and going to the bathroom. Lather the front, back, and in between for at least 20 seconds. If there's no soap or water available, use a hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol. Regularly disinfect common surfaces, including your phone. These small things can help break the germ cycle.
This is you at OU. What will you learn? How will you excel? What path will you lead? Who will you impact? What will you do at OU?
Scene 103, take one.
I have been 100% into getting vaccinated, and then I asked you, and you hesitated.
Yeah.
I thought we'd be on the same page about this, and we're not.
I feel like even if I were to catch it, my body is strong enough to fight it off.
What if you're one of those cases and you end up in the hospital?
Yeah.
That's what I'm scared of.
Welcome back. I'm Nirali Jayswal, and it's time for sports. The Sooners will take on Kansas State this Saturday in a redemption game. Having lost the last two matchups against Kansas State, the Sooners look to get back on track. One of those ways is through the offense. A new formation on offense is moving one of the top receivers to a new role. Saul Meyer has the latest.
If you've noticed wide receiver Marvin Mims hasn't capitalized for the offense as much as last year, it could be because he's taken on a new role in the offense.
He's played well. He's a guy that we certainly want to continue to find ways to get the ball in his hands. And in a lot of ways in our offense, the slot gives you some unique opportunities to do that.
Honestly, I'm liking it. I really like the slot position. I played in high school. A majority of my time towards the end of my high school career, and even right now, I'm liking it a lot. Right now, they actually have me playing a little bit of both. Not really seeing that as much, but it's definitely there. But I'm really liking the transition, being with Coach Gundy. Me and him have a great relationship, and it's very smooth.
We'll see if that smooth relationship can translate to big numbers when the Sooners take on K-State this Saturday. Saul Meyer, OU Nightly.
Sooners safety Pat Fields puts in work on and off the field. Fields was named a semifinalist for the Campbell Trophy. This is a combination of the best football scholar athlete in the country. Fields is only the second OU football player to qualify for this award. The finalists will be announced October 27th and will receive an $18,000 postgraduate scholarship. In the American League, the wildcard race is coming down to the wire. 5 teams are still in competition for the 2 spots, and the regular season ends on Sunday. And now for the National League. The St. Louis Cardinals had a wildcard clinching win over the Brewers last night, 6-2. Heading into September, the chances of the Cardinals making the playoffs was at 2.8%. And that all changed after they went on a 17-game winning streak, which is the 3rd longest one-season winning streak of all time to clinch the final wildcard spot. Next, they will take on the defending World Series champs, the LA Dodgers. Manny Pacquiao, one of the greatest boxers of all time, announced his retirement last night, just 3 months shy of his 43rd birthday. He was the only 8-division champion in boxing history, and he finishes his career winning a total of 12 world titles. It's Wine Wednesday, and you know what that means. We're bringing back Winer of the Week.
You take you a deuce, you don't sit there and look at it. You flush it and move on. We're going to flush it and move on.
This is our first Winer of the Week. Jalen Hurts was so bad against the Cowboys Monday night, but did he really have to go that far? It might have been a little too much information. As winner for the first Winer of the Week, we have this fine bottle of Merlot. We'll definitely be sending it his way. Ladies, back to you.
Thanks, Nirali. And today is National Coffee Day. Find out what this local coffee shop is doing to celebrate when we return.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking, let's go. You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes.
Make a plan today.
I'm Dana Searles at the OU Nightly Update Desk. A judicial panel has recommended the creation of 5 additional federal judgeships in Oklahoma. This recommendation is made after an increased caseload due to a U.S. Supreme Court ruling. The Supreme Court ruled that only federal and tribal courts have jurisdiction over crimes committed on tribal lands. Back to you guys.
Today is National Coffee Day, and I already had my morning cup of joe, but I think I need another.
Well, Katie, you're in luck because Scooters Coffee is celebrating by providing a free cup of coffee to loyal and new customers. Customers can redeem their free coffee using the Scooters mobile app at their favorite location. And if you happen to be new to the app, customers can create an account to begin earning loyalty smiles to receive future Scooters coffee rewards.
Well, it looks like I'm going to have to go to Scooters after this and try some of that coffee. I haven't had it yet, so that should be exciting.
I know. I had Starbucks this morning, and it seems like we have so many coffee places on the market now. I mean, Starbucks, there's Dutch Bros, Dunkin'. I just don't know who to choose from.
Looks like Scooters is going to be the one for today.
Yes, it will.
Well, Catherine, how's the forecast going to be in Manhattan this weekend for the football game?
Yeah, as the Sooners head to Manhattan, hopefully they'll have a little more luck than they've had in the past. But fans who are attending the game might not be as lucky. While temperatures are going to be beautiful for most of the game, we are going to have rain chances for the entirety of the game, including the tailgate in the morning. Temperatures are going to stay pretty consistent, but again, those rain chances are going to be there for most of the game. I'm excited for the game. Ladies, what about you?
Yes, I'm so excited. I hope we can pull off the win. I mean, losing last year, we need to get it together.
Yes, I'm ready to get a K-State win under our belt and move on to OU Texas next week. So.
Yes. Well, that is all the time we have this evening. Thanks for watching OU Nightly live from Gaylord College on the campus of the University of Oklahoma.
Make sure to join us again tomorrow live at 4:30. Good night.